Hi, I'm Liz Zerker, and this is 6 supplemental speaking lessons for ESL students. I'm going to talk about the sounds of ED. When you started learning English in your home country, one of the things that you were taught was that the simple past is easy in English. All you do is add ED to the end of the verb, and you add a syllable. And so you started saying things like added, jumped, cooked, things like that. Now that you've come to the U.S., you're surprised that you don't understand people as well as you thought you would. And they don't seem to understand you. One of the reasons is there are actually 3 sounds of ED, not just one. The one that you learn first is indeed ED. You put it at the end of the verb, and it's a separate syllable, right? Added, tasted, right? And it's kind of an ed sound. But unfortunately, that's the smallest group of verbs, the ones that make this sound. The spelling is the same, ed, but the pronunciation is different. And the reason it's different is very logical, but it's a little bit complicated. So I want you to listen carefully. Once you learn the rules, you don't have to memorize every verb, and you can easily tell what the correct sound is after you've practiced for a while. So the words that take the ed sound are only the words that end in a T sound, like tasted, as I said, or added, because you can't say "td." That makes sense. You can't say a T and a D sound right after it. It's impossible. So you need a vowel sound as a buffer. Ted, right? Ted. The other sound that triggers this ed sound is when a word ends in D, like added or bidded. I can't think of any right now, but because you can't say "d," right? You have to have a vowel sound in between. And so it comes separate syllable because there's a vowel added. So that's the smallest group, and you kind of already know that. So you've got that down. Right? So what about these other sounds? What causes them? In order to learn that, we need to talk about something called voicing. All letters have a partner. Like I said before, P and B are partner sounds, and T and E are partner sounds. S and Z. What's the difference between them? Well, they're made the same way. I mean, your tongue, your mouth are in the same position. The only difference is what your throat does. So right now I want you to take your hand and put it on your throat. Go ahead and do it, because you're going to hear a difference in these sounds only when your hand is on your throat. So let's say the D sound as in dog. D, D. Do you feel your throat kind of vibrating and the muscles are moving? That's called voiced. You're using your voice. The sound that comes out is moving your muscles. Now let's say T and do the same thing. T, T. There's nothing going on. It's voiceless. You're not moving your throat. But your tongue and lips were in the same position. And all the languages have these kind of partner sounds. Your language does, you know it. Another pair is S and Z. Let's practice with that. Take your hand and put it on your throat and say S like soup. Soup. There's nothing going on. I mean, the air is coming out. That's happening, but there's no vibration. Say Z like zebra. Zebra. Ooh, it's buzzing, isn't it? That's voiced. Another thing we need to realize is that we're all really lazy. All our languages are lazy. We say things the easiest way. And we don't want to change the kind of sound we're saying. It's too difficult. It's easier to use the same kind of sound. So after a voiceless sound, we like another voiceless sound. After a voiced sound, we like to use another voice sound. And that is why ED changes sounds. Let's talk about T. It's not the biggest group of these words. D is the biggest group, but T is easier to talk about first. So let's take, for example, a word that ends in P, which is voiceless, right? P, P, nothing's happening there. B is its voiced partner. Take the word jump. When you add ED to it, it's going to become jumped. Jump. Maybe now you would think, what's wrong with that word? It should be ED. It should be jumped. to be past tense, and you'll think, I don't know what they mean. Now, future, past, I don't know. It's the past tense, and it's spelled ed, but it sounds like a t. And this is very important later on for linking. So, jumped. So, p is a voiceless sound at the end of a verb. The ed ends up sounding like a t. What are some other voiceless sounds? K, cooked. F, coughed or cuffed. So after an F sound, no matter how it's spelled, it'd be a T sound. There's one more tricky thing, and that is the letter X. The letter X hasn't got its own sound. Think about X, X. That's actually a K and an S together. So when you say mix or fix, you're actually saying KS at the end. So the end sound would be what? S. S is voiceless. So in the past tense, fix would become fixed. Mix would become mixed. Box would become boxed. I hope that's making sense to you. It's very logical and it's very reasonable once you understand the sound rules behind it. Let's talk about the D group. ED sounds like just the D. It drops E when the sound before it is voiced, because D is voiced, D, right? So that includes Z and B. G is one of the sounds too. It also includes two other important groups. When a word ends in a vowel, and you know a vowel is A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. So a word like play, you write ed on the end, played. So it sounds like played, not played, played. You still write it ed, but the sound is just a D. Another group is the nasals. This is a little difficult, but you'll have to use your hands again. Put your fingers on your nose. Try to say an M, an N. Oh, it vibrates up here. It doesn't vibrate here. It doesn't vibrate here. It vibrates in your nose because air is coming out of your nose. So M is nasal. N is a nasal, like 9, right? And also, when a word has an NG in it, that makes a special sound. Don't try to say ng, like saying or hang, because it's one sound, just like EH makes one sound. And G together make this kind of funny sound. And you tell that that also is nasal. So the ing ending on verbs, the continuous ending, should be inga, right? It should be ing, and that noise is thrown up into your nasal cavity, your nose, and it vibrates there. Those words as well, when they're verbs, they have ed added to them, they become just D sound. Let's think of some words like that. So, hang, hanged. Bang, banged. Make a loud noise. Climb, it does have a B on it, but we don't say it. Climbed, right? So there's no vowel, no separate syllable, just a D sound added to the end. I know that's a lot of information, but you have a worksheet with those three groups written out at the top, right? And all the sounds that are included in it. On that worksheet, ED is the third group. It's in right-hand box. On that sheet, the D group is the second group, the second box. It has all the letters that trigger the D sound instead of ed. And then we call the T group the first group. It's the smallest group of consonants because it doesn't include vowels and nasals, and it's a little easier to remember. Keep trying this as we practice it in class, and sooner or later you'll get the hang of it. You'll understand people better, and they will understand you better too. Thank you.